In this video, we show how to solve two-step equations. A two-step equation is an equation that can be solved in at least two steps. That is, after just two steps, the variable can be isolated on one side of the equal sign. This is a continuation of the solving one-step equation video, and where all the same solution techniques apply. Let's jump right into some practice problems. Okay, for number one here, we need to isolate x on one side of the equal sign. By doing what? Removing the 4 and removing the -2. We begin by removing what's furthest away from the variable. That is, first remove that 4. So to remove 4, we do the opposite of what 4 is doing. So 4 is added. There's no sign in front of 4, which means it's a positive 4. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 4 on both sides. Let me first rewrite the question. -4 on this side of the equal sign and -4 on this side of the equal sign. And these 4's cancel, leaving us just -2x on the left-hand side of the equal sign. On the right side, we get 6. And next, we almost got x by itself. We got a little closer to getting x by itself. Now we got to remove the -2. In order to remove -2, we need to do what -2 is doing to x, which is multiplying x. So what is the opposite of multiplication? Right, division. So we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by -2. -2 divided by -2 becomes 1. 1 times x is just x, so our final answer is x equals -3. Right, moving on to the second. Okay, here we need to remove the 2 and a -5 to have y by itself. We begin by first removing the 2 since it's furthest away from the variable. So we're just going to subtract 2 on both sides. Of the equal sign. These 2's cancel out to 0. On the left-hand side, we're left with -5y. On the right side, we're left with 25. Now, we got a little closer to having y by itself. Now we just got to remove the -5. To remove the -5, we can go ahead and divide both sides by -5. (25 over -5 is -5. Right? Moving to number 3. We need to get n by itself. So we must first remove the 7 and the 3 in the denominator. So let's first remove the 7. How? By subtracting 7 on both sides of the equal sign. +7 -7 cancel. Right, come to this point. And now we just got to undo the 3 here on the denominator. So how? How to undo this 3? The 3 is, what is it doing to n? It's dividing n. So we do the opposite. The opposite of division is multiplication. So we go ahead and multiply both sides by 3. So multiply 3 here. And since I multiplied 3 on the left, I must multiply 3 on the right side of the equal sign. Now this 3 on the top here cancels this 3 in the denominator, giving just a 1. 1 times n is just n. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, 3 times 3 is 9. All right, moving on to number 4. We want x by itself. What to remove first, the 7 or the -5? -5, since it's furthest away from x. So let's go ahead and rewrite this first. And to get rid of that -5, we're going to do the opposite, which is to add 5 on both sides of the equal sign. -5 plus 5 cancel out, giving us 7x equal -35. Right, we got a little closer to getting x by itself. Next, we just got to remove the 7. How to remove 7? 7 is multiplying x. We got to do the opposite, which is to divide both sides by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 1 times x is just x. Final answer, -5. Moving on to number 5. What to do to get x by itself here? We need to remove the 6, and we need to remove the negative in front of x. First, rewrite the question. All right, so let's first remove the 6. Start from what's furthest away from x. So we're going to subtract 6 on the left-hand side, subtract 6 on the right-hand side of the equation. And the -6 plus 6 cancel out, giving us on the left-hand side -x equal 1. We almost got x by itself here. Now, there's a 1 in front of that x. Right? We need to remove that -1 in front of x. So we got one more step to do. And that -1 is multiplying x. So we got to do the opposite, which is divide. So let's go ahead and divide both sides by -1. Okay, -1 divided by -1 is +1. 1 times x is just x. So the final answer is x equal -1. Right, moving on to some others. Here again, we need to get x by itself by removing things near x. That is, get rid of the 77 and the negative. We got closer to getting x by itself. Next, we just got to get rid of that negative in front of x, and we'll be done. To get rid of that negative, we understand that that's really a 1. So we're going to divide both sides by -1. So that x is equal to +92. Number 7, here. We need to remove what? The 4 and the 3 underneath k. Let's first remove the 4 since it's furthest away. Subtract 4 on both sides. -4 plus 4 cancel out to 0. We're left with k over 3 equal -3. You know, solving equations is like getting new shoes. You first need to open the box. Next, you need to remove the wrapping to get to the shoes. All right, so here we remove the box. All right, next we got to undo this 3 that's dividing into k. So what to do to remove that 3? Right, we got to multiply both sides by 3. And it's okay to write a lot. Just taking your time. Writing a lot is okay. Right? 3 on the top cancels a 3 in the denominator, leaving a 1. 1 times k is just k. So our final answer is now 3 times -3 is -9. All right, last one. Get w by itself. By doing what first? Right, you got to subtract 24 on both sides. Got a little closer to getting w by itself. We're almost there. So next, we got to remove that -2. Just so that I don't do all steps in one step, let me just rewrite and do a step. This way I'm trying to be very clear on how things are proceeding. All right, that's it. I hope you found this video to be helpful. This was part of the math of numbers and symbols. But we like to say that math is order in the broadest sense.